Know me, broken by my master. Teach thee on, child, love hereafter. Into the flood again. Same old trip it was back then. So I made a big mistake.
Yes.
Try to see it once my way.
Amen. Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful.
Absolutely. Ethan, episode 7 of the Grunge Bible podcast. And this is the seminal moment in our podcasting careers. This is what everybody has always wanted us to talk about. And today we are bringing the Wood episode to the listeners. How do you feel about that?
I feel empowered. I feel like this episode is going to be our best yet. And, you know, like we say a lot, I mean, this is our 7th episode. I think we've recorded about 9. So here we are, into the flood again, recording another episode.
Yeah.
Something that has no end in sight, as we've been saying.
Exactly. And it's funny, I forget who I saw this from, but somebody that I watched maybe on YouTube was saying, like, you know, online personalities and just people in general, like, there comes a point in time where you more or less become known for like one or two things. And I think at this point, whether we wanted to or not, we've kind of become known as the, you know, the Wood page, the Into the Flood Again page. And, you know, a lot of times you're not really in control of what you're known for by other people. But honestly, there's worse things to be known for, and feels pretty good.
Yeah, this is definitely something that has stuck a lot harder than we expected. And yeah, it might be our flagship. Like we get comments on every post that says "In the flood again." If I would, could you? Just random people literally being like, "Wait, this isn't Wood." Like they just want to, and it's amazing because people want us to post it. More than we do,
and we already posted a lot. So yes.
To fill, I guess we should fill some people in that maybe if there's people that don't know about this, then that's surprising that they're here. But
seriously,
where do we start? Where do we start with this?
Well, I think
should we go all the way back.
I think we ought to start initially, just with a little bit of background on the song. I mean, you all know it. You all know "Into the Flood Again," obviously, but you know it is the ever popular, long-standing Alice in Chains song "Wood," which was recorded in 1992. It was written, both music and lyrics, by Jerry Cantrell. It was included on the Dirt album in 1992. It was the first single from that album. And I think one thing people may not know about the song is that Jerry Cantrell wrote it thinking about Andrew Wood. So Andrew Wood, obviously being the front man of Mother Love Bone, one of the early Seattle bands, from the late 1980s and early 90s. And Andrew passed away. I think he overdosed on heroin in 1990, unfortunately. And, like a lot of people back then in Seattle, especially, there was this huge fraternity of musicians, and, everybody knew one another. And Jerry Cantrell knew Andrew Wood. And after he passed away, Wood's passing, really had an impact on everybody in the area. And in 1999 on the Music Bank compilation, Jerry Cantrell kind of spoke about this song and Andrew Wood. And he said, about the song "Wood," he said, "I was thinking a lot about Andrew Wood at the time. We had always had a great time when we hung out, much like Chris Cornell and I do. There was never really a serious moment or a conversation. It was all fun. Andy was a hilarious guy, full of life, and it was just really sad to lose him. I always hate to see people who judge the decisions that others make. So it was kind of directed towards people who pass judgments." So it's interesting because obviously this song it's a meme at this point for our page and for a lot of the people who listen to this podcast and who follow. But it's really interesting how sometimes, art can take on different meanings. And, Jerry kind of wrote this about Andrew Wood in a very serious topic, but, the song has just endured for so many years. I mean, it was written in 1992, and here we are in 2021. But I think we all know it for different meanings, and we all has different meanings for us. And, we've kind of taken a little bit of a different meaning, but I think that's kind of the thing that I want to talk about is how did we get here? How did we get to the point where we can't post something without somebody commenting "Into the Flood Again," or, "Hey, you should post that Alice in Chains song, Into the Flood," or, "Hey, this isn't Wood."
Any type of rendition of bringing it up and saying we did or did not speak about it enough.
Yeah, and it's completely impossible for us now to ask for song suggestions without being like, "Hey, there's this little known song called Wood that y'all should check out." But so where does it begin with us? It begins kind of before the page was popular, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, this kind of goes back to our genesis with grunge of connecting hard labor and the toil with grunge music, and kind of, you know, the heavy guitar and the kind of the voices that go, you know, the hard voices, and you know, I think we've talked about it before on this page, but there was one summer that me and you both worked parallel trains, as we like to say. We both worked in our respective states in a different type of construction job. For you, and I worked in masonry, and every morning we'd wake up and, you know, we'd have to be at the shop at 6 or 6:30. You would be out on the job like late nights and early mornings as well. And every morning, like when you work a labor job, you know, it takes a toll on your body.
It sure does.
And I remember, like, I mean, the weeks would get long, the summers were hot, and it was just, you know, it's never ending work. And sometimes, you know, when you get to the end of the summer, your body is like broken. And there were two lines that we'd use all the time.
Oh yeah, and I remember this.
One of them was, of course, "Into the Flood." Each morning we just text each other, "Into the flood again," because that's how it felt. And then the other was from "No Excuses," "Hands are bruised from breaking rock all day," and that probably was more specific to, I dealt with rock a lot in my job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But every day it was like, it didn't matter how you felt, you had to go to work, and it was going to be tiring, and it would be "Into the Flood again." Same old trip it was back then.
Yep. And it's funny. So kind of thinking back to that summer, I remember that was 2016. That was the period of time throughout my entire life that I listened the most to Alice in Chains. Like there was just something about it. Like I remember, you know, we'd both be heading to the job, like you said, you know, more or less the same time, and we'd text one another. And it was just perfect. You know, I'd be moving around like on the different construction sites that we had. And, you know, I always had some Alice in Chains on in the background. There's just something about, like grunge rock and like manual labor. And it's funny, like just as we're sitting down to record this, my neighbor is having their roof redone, and the roofers are up there and they have a speaker. And so far I've heard Nirvana. I've heard Smashing Pumpkins. I've heard Toadies, and I've also heard Primus. I heard Jerry was a race car driver not too long ago. So, you know, here we are, and it's still, you know, it's amazing. It just fits, you know? Yeah.
And then so to kind of piggyback on that, I mean, when I did work I'd bring a speaker, obviously, and like, you know, you'd put on music and you'd try and shuffle it up, but I would just put on the Grunge Bible playlist that we made of all this stuff, and like I would just let it ride, and there's no other music that fits better. And I do it today if I'm working outside. I mean, you know, sometimes depends what job you're doing, but like grunge always fits, and I love it. And Alice in Chains, I would say, like, I was going to ask you what you think, which band is the best for this type of stuff, and Alice in Chains is a clear favorite to be the best one.
Yeah.
Is there any other that you really enjoy listening to when you're sweating outside?
It's impossible for me personally to beat Alice in Chains. Like the Facelift album, like I would just listen to that over and over again while I was working, and obviously the Dirt album as well. But I mean, just those two albums were just synonymous. And sometimes, like, that's how powerful music is. Like sometimes I'll be listening to Facelift or something, and I'll hear a song like Sunshine or something, and like I'll close my eyes and be like, yeah, like I remember, you know, I was working, you know, that manual job back in the day. And I mean, like you said, it's taking a toll, and you're sweaty, you're sore, you're tired, and you know, and that's the interesting thing about, you know, a lot of those songs, particularly with Alice in Chains, is you know, you take a song like Wood, and it was written about Andrew Wood and drugs and things like that, and even No Excuses, you could make the contention that Hands Are Bruised from Breaking Rocks All Day could, you know, be an allusion to heroin, obviously, but I really, you know, appreciate the ability with art to be able to kind of apply it to your own situation. So for example, like, you know, we applied it to manual labor, and they probably didn't write it about manual labor, but I mean, you know, it's not up to anybody to tell you what your interpretation of a song is. So it's, you know, we heard it and we applied it to that situation. And there was just something about it too, you know, you wake up every morning, and, you know, if anyone listening has worked, you know, blue collar, like manual labor job for an extended period of time, like the weekdays just kind of blend into one another, and it's like, you know, you work and then you get home and like you can't even really relax. It's just like shelter from the storm, and like you wake up the next morning, it's like right back into the waves. And we were just talking before we started to record, like the whole thing about like the flood and the waves, and no matter what you do, like Mother Nature is undefeated. You know, waves, the water, the tides, and it's
erosion.
Like yeah, it's like it's gonna win, you know. And it kind of feels like the more you work jobs like that, like your body is just eroding against the tides. And you know, that very like the moment of truth that it's like I have to hop back into this, like back into the drink again, and you know, show up to work and start working again. And once you get into it, you get into a little bit of a groove, and you know, certainly a heavy diet of Alice in Chains helped. But it was kind of funny, just like with those lyrics, just how many parallels I think we intrinsically drew to like the situation that we were in at the time. You know, and
I think to step in here, the second lyric, and this goes for like any job. Obviously, I like labor jobs because each project is seemingly a new project. It's different. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're building a patio, if you're pouring cement, you're pouring cement. Like you can't.
It don't matter where. It don't matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter like how you're getting it or what. Like you still got to mix it the same way. Or you still got to, you know, if you're building a wall, it's like same parameters. So even though it's a different job, a different place, it's the same old trip it was back then. And I think that my boss Andy, he would say that too. Like he'd be like, I remember being like, it's into the flood again, same old trip. And he's like, yeah, he's like, it's exactly it. I remember him being like, he's like, dude, that's so true. It's like, you know, it's nice having the parody of like moving around, but still,
it's the same tools, you know.
It's the same thing, and I think that sometimes, loads. And that, you know, there's a comfort in that, but there's some wearing that goes on with that too.
And you know, it's interesting too, like the try to see it once my way, you know. I remember, you know, if you're working a job like that, it's like, oh, like how hard is it or whatever, you know. And I think once you've worked a job like that, you know, they're kind of explained to the general public as unskilled labor. There's not really a such thing as unskilled labor. I mean, you're moving, you have to, and you have to have very specific skills, or else you're going to get hurt in those environments. I mean, with you, like if you're taking down like a 80 foot tree, you know, it's not unskilled, or else you're gonna kill somebody, or you're gonna, you know, put it down into a house, you know. And you know, I think once you work a job like that, you know, you don't understand until you do. Like I never had any desire to work a manual job for my whole life, and I'm glad that I don't. My body thanks me daily that I don't.
Yes.
But to have the perspective, you know, you were able to see it once their way, for a period of time. But you know, Alice in Chains and specifically Wood, that's kind of where that genesis comes from, and I think why it will always be an important song to you and an important song to me as well. So that was back in 2016. We had just started the page a few months prior to the time that we both started working those jobs. Because we started in February and we started working probably April or May. So with that being said, I mean, we certainly weren't posting it all the time. How did that start? I know you started it. It was I forget when it was. I think it was late 2020. You posted it on a Monday, and you were like in the flood again.
Yeah, one of my, I guess, claim to fame, it seems like. You know, it was, well, so we got into a habit of, you just get into a habit of waking up and posting. Yeah. And I remember you were waking up and working a job, and it was the same old trip. We were working different jobs, but we were both getting up early. You were up early, and I just remember like, you know, I was just into the flood again, and I was like, man, we text this back and forth to each other every day. We might as well like post it on the page, like the work week, because we allude to work week a lot in our posts. Usually I think we jump on the fact that it's Friday, or we jump on the fact that it's Monday or hump day, or Saturday energy. So we jump on that stuff all the time. So it made sense to kind of post and say to everybody, to let everybody know that we're in this together, and we're into the flood again. And I remember like I posted it, and I was like, did well. I was like, Chris, I think I don't even know if I told you. I was just
No,
like,
I was
I'm
just
gonna
gonna
post this
say
tomorrow.
you didn't tell me. So you posted on Monday, and we've posted that song a bunch of times, obviously, because it's such a damn good song, and there's
Yeah,
some
it
really
is.
great pro shot video of it and unplugged and everything. So I remember you posted. I was like, oh sweet, like Alice in Chains, like
Yeah, I love
that's
that song.
fucking awesome. Like it's great. Like Into the Flood again. It's Monday. Like let's do this shit. And then you posted again on Tuesday. I was like, oh okay, that's pretty good. I don't think we spoke about it until like Wednesday or Thursday, and I think I started to catch on the same time that like a lot of the viewers and the followers started to catch on. Like, okay, here we go. And it didn't take long. I think we ended up posting it for like 14 or 15 days in a row. So every single morning we
At
were posting
least
it. Yeah, and we just
I
kept doing
remember.
it.
Yeah, I remember like Thursday or something. You're like Ethan, this is awesome. Like I got it. I got it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like I'll put the load on me. I'm doing it.
And like for a while, we could like we used a different version every time, which was cool because
And then you run
it's
out
always
of versions,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. And I think actually I got the idea because sometimes I always want to have parody on the page, but I remember usually I don't know if exactly I was thinking about New Year's when you usually post Yellow Ledbetter and
Oh
like
yeah.
a few different versions where you would literally post 5
Every single
videos
day, yeah, like
yeah.
throughout the whole day, it's just Yellow Ledbetter, just different versions.
So like I had thought about that and I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's always cool to see different performances. So, but yeah, then we just started posting it and then it kind of caught on and then it was like hilarious and it was really good.
Yeah.
And we did it like 21 days straight and people.
Oh
and then,
yeah.
people were like, why are you always posting this? And then once it really set in and people started defending us and we didn't have to say
Oh
anything.
yeah,
It was
we didn't
just
have to say
perfect.
anything. I will have to say it was the most fun for me when there were still a lot of people who like didn't get it.
Of course.
And like that was great. They're like, "Oh, like what the fuck, man? Like they have more songs. Like you're a poser. You don't know any of their songs at
You're
all."
ruining the song.
Yeah, and like it's fun just to go along with that. Be like, no, like I'm pretty sure this is their only song. Like they don't have any other good ones. This is it.
And
And
we've
it
done
was,
this stuff before.
oh yeah,
Obviously,
we
Mud Honey.
we love I mean I love pushing buttons and
You do?
yeah, just a little bit. Ethan, we've been doing this thing for over 5 years. I gotta get some enjoyment out of it.
Pretty much.
It's more enjoyable than I'm making it sound right here. Although sometimes it's not, but you don't have a choice. You got to go into the flood.
Yeah, full disclaimer, we like to complain about that type of stuff. We do it
Yeah.
to each other a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's half the fun.
Yeah,
That's half our mantra,
yeah, exactly. But
poking fun at ourselves and what we're doing. So,
yeah,
and I
so,
think that's also a part of this. Like it was just
oh yeah, absolutely.
kind of there's parody. It was something different, and it spiced it up for us, and we loved it. The first I remember I think we did it for like 20 days straight.
Yeah, it was almost a month, I think.
And then maybe we missed a day or two, but we held it strong for a while.
But the best part, if we missed a day, it happened that day. But if not, the first day that we didn't do it, we had a bunch of people DMing us or commenting on our first post of the day, be like, "What the hell, man? Like, where's wood?
Where's my daily wood?"
Yeah, like I need it." And it was so funny how quickly everybody got on board with it, and there's still people that really enjoy it. I mean, it's every so often we'll get people who like, yeah, this is old, but like that's the point. We didn't intend to make this like a running gag, and now we did. So now we want to try and kill it in a way, and totally just go overboard. Moderation's no fun with this kind of thing, obviously. So
and it fits with the song too. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Same old trick we posted. It's the same thing. Like,
Well, you have so many different moods in there because I mean, there's sometimes like you'll wake up on a Monday morning, you're kind of jacked up to get after it a little bit, and you're excited, and you're like, all right, like here we go, we're going in. And then there's those other days where you're just like, oh shit, man, like my alarm's already going off, like I gotta go to work, like I don't have a choice, like into the flood, so it's like you're either jumping into a pool on a vacation or you're jumping into the flood waters for God knows why. And it's been great too, just the really stupid memes we've been able to make about it. I've certainly enjoyed that, and we have people make memes for us, and they'll send us, which is really great because then it's even less work that we have to do with the page, which I'm all for, because I'm a very lazy person, but it's really funny. And I think another thing too, so we've been doing this for a while and a lot of people know it, we'll have people DM us or comment, be like, hey, like this song should be the new wood, like you should post this every day. Like that's not how it works.
No, it's not.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and it can't be forced. I mean,
No.
That was like obviously the best part about this. It just kind of happened and was organic, and that's how all good things happen, especially on the internet. Like all good,
Oh
funny,
yeah, totally.
like so. And we kind of got into it a little bit with the Primus posting on
Yeah.
Thursdays, which we really enjoy because I don't know, there's something about posting the same song a bunch of times.
Exactly, and I think this kind of ties into a question that we had in the Q&A on episode 4. Somebody asked us if anybody from the Alice in Chains camp has ever reached out to us about the song, or if we've made contact, and we still haven't. And I think I made the point then that like it would be really funny if someone reached out to us, was like, hey, like y'all need to chill, like this is stupid.
Right.
I don't think they would do that, but how funny would that be if somehow they reached out and they were like, I don't know what's going on here, but
or like when people say you're ruining the song.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Like,
right. Could you imagine? So it came out in
1992. Yeah.
92.
So 29 years ago.
Yeah. 29 years ago. And like, could you imagine,
like the song could have kids now.
But yeah, to compare, well, like if 29 years from now somebody like mocked Grunge Bible in a way,
right.
And like, oh no, you're ruining the like Grunge Bible name.
First of all, we're not going to be doing this page in 29 years.
Well, if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely awesome. Like, we haven't died our second death yet. But it's just really funny because like every so often, like you'll get someone who's like a complete hardo like that, be like, I don't know why you're ruining the legacy of this song. Like, buddy, we're a drop in the bucket. Like nobody cares what we do. Like Jerry Cantrell doesn't give a shit what we post.
You know what they need to do?
What?
They need to try and see it once our way.
Exactly. They need to try and see it once our way.
Put yourselves in our shoes, guys. I mean, we need this.
Like we may have made a big mistake. We may have, but
we may have made a big mistake. That's exactly right. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're never going to be able to post it without people recognizing that it's like a running gag for us. So we've kind of married ourselves to it for the duration. But like I said,
nice because if you need a post,
yeah,
I mean,
people love it.
You throw that, like if you just like, I'm gonna start this morning, you could just throw up any old Wood video and people get it. People aren't upset. It's great.
Yeah, they're big fans of it. So I mean, who knows how long it'll probably be with us as long as we run these pages, and
obviously we've broken out of the everyday theme.
Yes,
which
maybe people want that back. Maybe we'll get some feedback after this episode.
Maybe there's somebody else doing it too that we don't follow.
Maybe we've inspired somebody to follow in our footsteps and post it every day, or maybe with another song, but
carry that cross.
and another, going back to like the complaints that people have, a popular complaint that we get is that we're killing the song. And once again, the song's been alive for 29 years. There's nothing that we could do to it. Like just like two jerks on the internet with a podcast and a page. Like we're not going to be able to kill this song. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been dead to the band for a while too, because of the monotony of playing the same song for 20 years. I mean, so well, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think for us, Wood is here to stay. So I think the people that aren't on board with it have hopefully, extricated themselves from the Grunge Bible train. But if not, maybe they will now. But do we have any other closing thoughts on Wood? I mean, that's pretty much it. Like that's the thing. I think a lot of times with the page and with different things that we do, or even like the page origins, like people sometimes assume that there's some sort of extravagant backstory to it, and like there's really not. It's like, hey, like we like this song, and so we decided to post it.
Yeah,
that's really all
I love when things start unplanned and turn into something. So I think the main takeaway is that the toil. I think that everybody needs to look through the toil lens of working outside and working hard and connect Alice in Chains, because that's really what this is all about.
100%.
Connecting Alice in Chains to manual labor.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hop on my soapbox here. If we have any youngsters listening, or oldsters too. I mean, it's never too late. But like, if you're like a teenager and like you're looking for something to do in the summer, like go get like a physical labor job. Like like not to like pontificate or to romanticize it, but like I think you can learn some things from it.
Yeah.
At least hard work and the fact that, as hard as you work today, there's always work to do tomorrow. And that's pretty much just how life is. And the sooner you can get used to that, the better off you'll be. So I mean, this is perfect timing too, because it's April, the summer's coming soon, school's going to be out. Go and find yourself a physical labor job. If you do, let us know.
I want to second that and totally echo that and say that this is a great time to go out there. You got 4 months ahead of you, and then then all obligations are cut, so there is an end in sight, and you get a lot of time to yourself, a lot of thinking. I mean, that's like the best part. Throw the headphones in, throw in dirt, throw in Faceless, another one. I mean, Bad Motor Finger, Soundgarden is a close second when it comes to being outside.
100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. I mean, you learn to work with your hands. You learn some things that are when you're a homeowner, maybe, if any of us are ever going to be, have no debt and actually be able to purchase homes, but that remains to be seen. But yeah, absolutely. Manual labor is a good thing to do, just to know what it's about, because then maybe you'll relate to the music a little bit more, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not really what it's all about, but yeah, that is my advice for today. I'm not really, I don't know that I'm a good advice giver, but I think this is good advice.
People are going to listen to it either way. So
exactly.
Yeah, definitely the young grunge lovers.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. Like, we definitely have some younger people listen, people who are like 10, 12, 13, 14 or whatever, which is kind of strange. And I apologize to their parents if I'm giving them unsolicited advice, but I don't know. I also wonder if, what our podcast listener demographic is. I'm assuming it's probably like, people in their 30s and 40s that were actually alive during this. But I mean, even still, like if you got some free time and you never did it, go out and get that manual job. It'll be important.
That would be such a career shift. If you were like 40 years old and just switched over to a craft or
it would be even worse if they gave the reason as to why they did it is like, oh, like I heard the Grunge Bible podcast episode 7, and that's why I switched. So I hope we don't wield that much power in the world. But if we do, I'm not going to accept any of the consequences of it. But that's wood,
Yeah,
so,
I think that's solid.
Yeah. So, all right. Song of the week, Ethan. Do you have a song of the week?
I do. I have one that I got actually put onto it a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, through the page. So this shout out to the follower that suggested this, but the band is called Drummer.
Okay.
And the song is called Mature Fantasy, but spotlight is on the band Drummer, and it's actually a band formed by the Black Keys drummer.
So Patrick Carney.
Yeah. So it's a band full of drummers from Ohio. So there's like 5 drummers from other bands that are playing. So Patrick Carney is playing the bass, and they're a bunch of different members. And this song is called Mature Fantasy. The band is called Drummer, and they have an album, and it's really good. And it's like wild because the person said like, yeah, check these guys out. If you like the Keys, he's like, they like for some reason don't have a lot of listens, and they have like 496 monthly listeners on Spotify right now. So no one's listening to them for some reason, but the song's great. I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the story, and I'll add it to the playlist that I'm probably, we only have 8 songs, so I was waiting a little bit, but we'll post that, and then it'll be on there. It's really good. It's just
100%. I didn't know that Patrick Carney had a side project. Like I know Dan Auerbach, he's recorded some solo stuff, and he also had a side project called The Arcs, which is also, I think they put out, I want to say 1 album, or no, I think they put out a few of them actually, but they're really solid. But I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out because I really like the Black Keys. They just announced a new album coming out. I want to say in May, so next month, and it's going to be basically what it is it's like a Delta blues like tribute-ish album, and it's gonna have a lot of like nods to people like R.L. Burnside and Junior Kimbrough, and that is like directly up my alley, so I'm really excited for that. It is going to be called Delta Dream, And it's coming out May 14th, so that's exciting.
Nice.
So we have a few more weeks for that. But I've been a fan of the Black Keys for a while. But I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. When you just mentioned that it was a band of all drummers, I was half hoping that they were all just playing drums and nothing else was happening.
That would be pretty incredible.
That would be awesome. We need somebody to do that. Just 5 drummers, just drumming.
Find a way to to remake songs and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good. My song of the week. Where is it? So I have 2 pretty close friends who are a little bit more into like punk music and like punk rock, which I think that's what this is. But my song of the week is "I Don't Like Who I Was Then" by the Wonder Years. So I have 2 friends who are like really, really, really into the Wonder Years, and one of them who I visit fairly often went to a show of theirs and actually got a set list from the stage, and I think it's on his refrigerator, and it has been for a long time. But I mean, they were both, for the longest time like, hey, like you got to get into the Wonder Years, like they're awesome. And I'd always kind of put it off because like I've never really liked that kind of music a whole lot. But then this past fall, I started listening to them a lot. And I really, really like it. I like the Wonder Years and Modern Baseball are like my top 2 bands of like that vein, that genre, I guess. And then this week I just, picked up the Wonder Years a little bit and started listening again and been jamming to that song for the last few days. So we're locking that in as song of the week for myself.
Love it.
Yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking out your suggestion and also looking forward to that new Black Keys album because I've always been a big fan of theirs. I think all of their records are really awesome. So we're looking forward to that. And as always, if anybody else has suggestions, send them to us. We might not respond. We might not listen, but we always appreciate the suggestions.
Yeah, it's never going to be in your timeline. So just remember that when you send a request, we might get to it and we might say something, but just bear with us.
And lately I have been very bad with opening emails, answering emails, opening direct. I've been really bad. So if anybody, I apologize for that, but it ebbs and flows. You just have to see it once our way and then you might understand.
It's exactly right.
Yeah. So moving on, this next segment right here, I would just like to thank some of our new Patreon supporters. So since the last podcast, we've had some people sign on
Patreon
to be supporters of the cause. So we have a couple new patrons here, Caitlin Peterson and Catherine Callahan. Caitlin and Catherine, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Catherine.
You're officially on board. And then also our top tier donors, we have 2 of them right now, just absolute champions of the podcast and of Grunge Bible. We've got Sonny Mashburn and Victor Schaefer. They're directly helping to make this happen. They're helping us to produce this podcast, to host the podcast, to get it out onto the various streaming services, to run the website, and to dedicate time. So Sonny and Victor, we're really thankful for you guys. And that kind of segues into, if you're liking the podcast so far, we're just about a month and a half into actually having this thing off the ground. So if you're listening to it and you like it, definitely we would love it if you go and check out and just read about the Patreon that we have. So you can go to grungebible.com to find links to our Patreon. We have a few different tiers with which you can sign up and support the podcast. And that's, far and away the most direct way that you can support us here.
Right.
Everything that you give will go to us, and everything that we get will go directly towards making the podcast and the pages better. Additionally, we have links to our merchandise also up on grungebible.com. So if you're interested in repping the Instagram page in person day to day, we've got stickers, shirts, sweatshirts, hats, the standard issue merchandise offerings. But we would be really pumped if you go and check that out there. So that's what we've got if you're interested in supporting us. And then lastly, the producer of the Grunge Bible podcast is Drew McFadden. We just had Drew on for an interview on episode 5. So definitely go and check that out and go show him some support if you have not already.
Yeah. All these people helping us out, Chris. It's pretty great.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Yeah, it does. It's great. I mean, the page keeps growing and we're going to do our best to keep up with it pretty much, right?
Absolutely. We're just holding on. You can't you can't stop the waves, you can't stop the flood, but you can learn to surf, as they say, and we're trying.
And you know what? I'll ride the wave
where
where
it takes me.
So I think the only proper way to really close out this podcast is to leave with a question, something to think about, some food for thought. So
Is this rhetorical or am I answering this?
this is rhetorical. This will
All
be the
right.
last. This will be the last
So
remark. So
everybody listen up because you got to think about this one.
So go ahead and say your goodbyes and thank yous, because I'm just going to close it out right here.
Goodbye and thank you. Now listen to this question.
You guys are great. All right. So if I would, could you?